Good afternoon and welcome to my Lovely You Stamp Club. Post a comment if you're here so that I know that I have people watching. So today we're going to make 3 cards with this stamp set. And these are the 3 right here posted. Alright, so today, like I said, we're going to be using the Lovely You bundle, which is this stamp set, and also this punch called the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. It's pretty cool because you can make 6 different labels with this punch, and I'm going to show you several different ones that we can do today. Alright, so just post if you're here so I can know who's watching. Like I said, this will be the first card. Hey Marilyn, hi there. This will be the first card that we do. When I made the sample card, I actually used the purple posy paper, but then I decided I liked it a lot better with Misty Moonlight, so that's what you got in your kits. So if you want to take your Misty Moonlight paper and fold it in half. This is 5.5 by 11. And I'll be showing the dimensions a little bit later. So just fold it in half, and you can take your bone folder and put a crease in it. I can't remember if I gave you in your kit a little piece of paper to go on the inside. But if not, you can cut one just because otherwise you can't really see what you write on here. So if you want to go ahead and tape that in there. On the inside, that way you can write something. And if you want, you can stamp something in there or some words or whatever. All right, so what we use for this card is a new paper called Playing with Patterns, which I thought was really fun. There's all these different patterns. Well, here, I'll show these right here that you can choose from. I gave you 5 different ones in your kit. Look at that. There are so many different options here. And that's just one side. If you flip it over, let's see, it goes through here. If you flip it over, you've got all these to choose from as well. So, hey Phyllis. Anyway, really like that paper. Just bright and happy, so that's what we're using today. So in your kit, you should have gotten 5 designer series paper strips of that cardstock, the Playing with Patterns. And so what you want to do is just decide which ones you want to use. You can just lay it on your card. You might have different than what I'm showing here in your kit. But just lay it on the paper and decide what, hey Cassandra, decide which side you want up. If you want this side or if you want to flip the other side, you can. And actually that would be kind of fun. It would be totally different than this one that I did. I might do that to be different. I don't know. I really did like this side though. I think that we're going to do this. All right, so the first thing you want to do is just go ahead and tape those down. And I did not tape them down perfectly because I wanted it to look a little whimsical. So you can just put tape runner or tape at the top and bottom of each strip and tape them on. Like I'm kind of lining up the top and bottom, but the sides I'm kind of, you know, angling. And I kind of liked the green solid in the middle for this one, but like I said, you might have different paper. So you just have to decide what is best for you. So I'm going to kind of go like that, I think. And actually, you might want to start on the other side too and work your way towards the middle so that you don't have a big gap in the middle. So yeah, I wish we could meet in person, but unfortunately it's just not the time. So we'll meet on Facebook. There we go. All right, so then the middle one, yeah, it'll be a little bit of gap, but that's all right. Now I should tell you how I cut these, but I'll show you on the next strip how I cut them. All right, so then you should all have a purple posy piece. So this is actually what the purple posy piece looked like before I cut it. So it's 1 inch wide. Once again, this punch will do 1 inch, 3/4 inch, and 1/2 inch. And for this one, we're going to use this design. So you just lay it in the groove, push it all the way till it's seated, and punch. It's that easy. So there's that. Hey Lisa, how are you? So Lisa Hassinger is joining us again in Stamp Club from Arizona, which is pretty exciting. All right, I will go ahead and tape. I'm going to hold off on that. All right, let's go ahead and stamp this little strip, and I'm going to use the Lovely You stamp set, like I said. And we're going to use 3 stamps out of that. I'm going to use 2, actually I'm using 3 of the new in colors, which are I really love these jewel tones. Bumblebee, Just Jade, and Misty Moonlight. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment in the middle. Hopefully I don't mess it up. This one says Cherished Friend. So I'm going to put that right in the middle. Am I on camera? Looks like I am. Not too bad. All right. And I'm just going to put this behind here so I don't mess up my pretty paper. Thanks, Lisa. All right, so this is the Just Jade. I think I'll start with that. And I'm using this little leaf. And I'm going to just do stamp on, and then I'm just going to stamp off. Oopsie. Good, I didn't mess it up. I'll do one more. I'm trying to leave a little white space for my yellow flower, and I think I'll just stamp off once more, maybe right there. All right, so if I'm smart, well, I'm just going to set these aside because I need them in a minute. All right, the next one I'm going to use is the new Bumblebee, and I'm just going to do some flowers. So this is really makes a really fun background. Kind of reminds me of the Mary Englebright. I don't even know if that's still a thing, but I just remember her fun patterns she used to have. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so there's that. Quickly clean them, and I'm going to punch this one. I'm going to use the same one as before. Seat it in there, punch it. There we go. Move this color out of the way, which actually I need on the next card. There we go. All right, so, oops, still messed it up. There you go. So I'm just going to tape it down. And my next thing to do will be the butterflies, which were really fun. This kind of got some yellow on it. Boy, I'm telling you what. I must have yellow on my fingers already. Nothing like inky fingers when you're stamping, right? There we go. All right. So, there, but we need our butterflies still. So, for that, I'm going to get out the Stamparatus. And I went ahead and put the butterflies on here. And I put them just right so that they will match up perfectly with the punch, which punches 2 at a time. So I just lined them up. Actually, the way I lined them up is I punched the butterflies out, set up the butterflies in the holes, and then put them on there. It was a little hard to do, I'm not going to lie, but after a few tries I was able to do it. So, these magnets are really heavy duty. All right, so I'm going to put it in here, put the magnet down, take my memento pad, tap it on the butterfly. Now, what's really cool about the Stamparatus is if you mess up the first time, you got a second chance with it. I just push it over, push it down. Oh, Lisa said it's still a thing. Cool. All right, so there. Mary Engelbright is still a thing. Thanks. Alrighty, so there are my butterflies. Oh, by the way, the butterflies came out of this stamp set, Butterfly Wishes. And I'm going to take my punch and punch them upside down. Oh, you know what? I just remembered I need 2 of these, so. There we go. So let's do one more. Still on the camera. There we go. All right, I'm going to get this out of here. I could show you this, I guess. The easiest way to clean this is just to take this spongy thing. I can't even remember what the name of it is, but it's wet, and just wipe it off. And there, it's clean now. Ready for the next time. All right, and so I'm going to go ahead and punch these out, and then I'm going to show you how I watercolored the butterflies. So Stampin' Up! In this new catalog has water painters now. These are really nice because unlike the other ones they had before, this actually has 3 different brush sizes. So this one is like a big giant paintbrush. Yeah, and you just open these up and fill them with water. There's the big one. There's a fine tip and a medium tip, I guess, for lack of a better. All right, so I am going to make a little palette here. I'm just going to take my Just Jade and get one side of my acrylic block. Gosh, I can't even think what it was called. It's pretty sad. With the Just Jade, and the other side I'm going to get with the Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to just watercolor these butterflies. And we need 2 big ones and a little one. And so I did the top of the wings in green. So I'm just squeeze out a little water. You can test it and make sure that looks like a good shade. And so I just did the top of the wings in the Just Jade. And by the way, you want to use, don't use a water-soluble black ink. That's why I used the Memento, because if you use a water-soluble black ink and watercolor, then the black will run together and it won't be so pretty. So there, I just did the top of the wings. Pull a little more color in because it's starting to get light there. It's pretty easy. I really enjoy watercoloring. I'm not very good at it, but with these tools, I feel like a master. So I really like using the acrylic block too. I just recently learned about that. So I'm going to squeeze a little water out so that it's wet, kind of pull in some color until it looks a good shade. That might be a little dark, so I think I'll squeeze out a little more water. That looks good. So to clean these brushes, you can either just run them under water, or you can just squeeze the water out into your cleanup pad. So I'll show you that in a minute, how to do that. Hopefully, am I still on camera? So there you go. One more. So there we go. So like I said, to clean them, you can just squeeze them and the water will come out and you can just kind of wipe them off and see it's pretty clean. Or you can, like I said, you can also just run them underwater. Alrighty, so I'm gonna set that aside. And to clean off the acrylic block, you can just run it underwater. All right, so back to our card. So this is really a pretty quick card. I'm going to go ahead and tape down my sentiment. And I kind of put it in the middle. A lot of times I off-center it, but this one I didn't. And then I took Stampin' Dimensionals. I used these new little ones. Well, somewhat new. They're not that new. And just put one in the center back of each butterfly. So these littler dimensionals are nice when you're just using a smaller image. Probably would work better if my butterfly was dry. I kind of like bent my butterfly a little to kind of give it a three-dimensional look. Of course, I guess it gets squished in the mailing, but it looks good until then, right? Or you can just tell the person you mail it to pull it up. And so it looks like I got a smudge. I think I'll just cover my smudge up. Maybe I'll wipe my hands off. Oops, sorry about that. Just knocked my camera. Oh, thanks, Marilyn. And I'll put the third one maybe there. All right, so if you notice, I kind of like have them going different angles, different directions. And that's our first card is done. So pretty quick and easy. I just love these bright colors. They really make me happy. So like I said, here it is on Misty Moonlight. Here it is on Purple Posy, which, you know, it's a kind of a soft, kind of a springtime look. And this is more of a summer look, maybe. I don't know. But they're both cute. So that's our first card. Oh, and I did tell you that I would give you the dimensions. These are the stamp sets that I used. Here's the paper with the dimensions. So you could always watch the video again and pause it there if you want to make one of these yourself later. There it is, and I'll post it somewhere on my page after the video's over too. All right, so the next card we're going to do is our fun fold card. I just fell in love with this fold when I found it. It's a lot of fun. So first for that, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. We're going to do the fun fold last. We're going to do this one next. Can't go out of order because my supplies are set up in order and it'll totally mess me up. All right, this one was, I thought, really fun. Also using one of the new colors, new in colors, Magenta Madness, and it's really bright. And if you notice, I gave you guys a different color ribbon in your kit. I used up all my ribbon. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, this is how much is left. There's none left. So anyway, I just stuck that on my sample card, but the card I'm making, I have just enough left for of Magenta Madness. So, all right, you want to take your card base, which is the big one, and fold it again. I like to just match up the corners and then press it down. Take my bone folder and give it a nice crease. So that's our base. And then I messed up in your kits and gave you a retired embossing folder. I realized that last night when I was getting ready for this class. I'm like, oh man. It's very close to the hammered metal one, which is in the catalog, but it's not in the catalog. So for the class, I changed it up, and we're going to use this embossing folder instead, which is Parisian Flourish. And hey, by the way, starting next month, they're going to have the new, Stampin' Up! Will have the new embossing machine available. So you can be on the lookout for that. All right, I'm just going to set this in here, put it down, and emboss it. Kind of hard to do sideways, but there you go. I think I'll flip it around for the next time. All right, so isn't that pretty? I really like this pattern. So I'll get this out of the way. All right, so on this one, we're also going to have an interior piece because this is kind of, I mean, yeah, I guess you could write on this, but I just think it looks more professional to have something on the inside. So I'm just going to start there so I don't forget to do it. For this card, I used Magenta Madness and Shaded Spruce. I thought they looked really pretty together, and so I used them. I think I'll go like this, sideways. And so this card has a lot of pink. Probably aren't going to send it to a guy friend, but we'll do masculine maybe next month. I don't know. That's what I did. So yeah, that's the inside, and we can put that in later. So for the outside, this had a lot of little pieces, which I went ahead and cut. And like I said, I'll show later what the sizes are of all these little strips if you want to make it yourself. So we'll start with this little strip here. And for this one, I stamped this flower, or it's not a flower, it's a leaf, one way, and then I did it the other way. And it doesn't really matter that it doesn't look too good in the middle because we're going to cover that up anyway. And that will layer on this strip here. So there's that. Get rid of that. All right. And I will do the sentiment, which I really like. Miles apart. Oh, hi, Linda. Miles apart, but still in my heart. And that I stamped in Magenta Madness. And I kind of stamped it to the right. Let's see, yeah, to the right, but not too far because I'm going to cut out that side. And that's all that goes on there. And I'll go ahead and cut that while I'm working on it. And for that, I used this one again. And I cut both sides. And so you notice that I intentionally left this blank because we're going to put a ribbon there. All right, so this is going to go behind it, and I'm using the same cutout. And this one's a 1-inch strip. The other one was a 3/4 inch strip. So I'm going to cut both sides, and that will give me my sentiment. There we go. And those two, and now I'm going to do my 4 strips. Let me use the long ones. Well, we'll do them one at a time. I did 2 greens and 2 magentas. Let's start with the magenta because I already have this stamp set. So I wanted this flower to be right at the top, and I think I want this one to be right side up. So I'm going to go like that. This kind of looks like cone flower to me. So notice I'm just alternating the direction that it goes and stamping it off and stamping it on so that you don't want it to look too perfect. It looks better if you move it around. All right, and I'll do the other Magenta Madness one, flower one, which I used this little flower for. And maybe since Linda's watching, she's a master gardener, maybe she can tell us what this flower is. I have absolutely no idea. But it's fun. I don't think it's really a flower. I think it's just imaginary. Oops, thought I could be wrong. All right, and let's see. Okay, I'm going to close this one. So there's 2 strips. We're going to do 2 of the green ones now, which is shaded spruce. And I did this one at an angle. And so I'm just, like I said, moving it around, trying to keep it at the same angle, but there. All right, so there's that one. And then my last one is the leaf one here. Yeah, just rotating it. There we go. And this time I'm only going to cut out the bottom, and I'm going to use this one this time. So just cutting out the bottom. And this is a 1/2 inch strip. It's a little bit thinner than some of the other ones. Okay, now we're ready to assemble the card. And so I'm just going to take 4 little pieces of tape. This is double stick. There's lots of different adhesives. I just like double stick, so that's what I use. And I just want to hover it over the corners to make sure I line it up. And there, that looks good. And then next I'm going to start with those strips. I'm going to start with the green one with the leaves. And I just put a piece of tape at the top and the bottom. It's enough tape. And I'm just going to put a little, I'm going to line this up flush with the top of the embossed piece, but leave about, I don't know, a quarter, maybe so of an inch there. All right. And we're going to do the next strip, which will be a magenta one. And for this one, I'm going to use I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to leave a little strip of color in between. Not much, just a little bit. All right, now I'm going to go back to the green. So it's just 2 colors on this card, but I think it's stunning. And it's bright. But I think we all need a little brightness in our life right now, so I really thought it was perfect. All right, so this leaves a nice strip of color over here, which is intentional. And I'm going to go ahead and do this layer next. Once again, I'm just putting a little adhesive at the top and the bottom. And this one I'm going to line up so that it has equal amounts of the 2 green strips showing, if that makes any sense. And I think I'll center it. All right, so, I mean, I could offset it, but I kind of like it centered like that. All right, so that looks good. And now for the sentiment. So this is a fun layout. You could, do any color combination with this layout. Mix it up, and if you do, send me a picture, which you did, so that I'll know. All right, and then this, like I said, I'm going to cover up my mess in the middle. And so I just want to center this. I've got a little piece of tape there. I'm going to center it. There we go. And I went ahead and already made my little bow. But you can make a bow, you can work it. I didn't want to take it apart because I had already made it, and I don't have any extra ribbon, so I can't afford to mess it up, so that's what I did. I'm using the mini glue dots. And I just put it on there, pull it off, and then I'm just going to put it right there. There we go. So card number 2 done. And here, as I said, is the paper dimensions, everything that I use for this card. And let me grab the next card. So you can pause it there, like I said, and write the dimensions down if you're going to make this card. All right. All right, now the fun fold, which I thought was really fun. I started to say earlier, a very fun card. I didn't cut it out already because I wanted to show you how to do this. So the first thing you want to do is, I'm going to show you how to cut out 2 at a time. You could cut it in half and then do 1, but I'm just going to do 2. So the first thing you want to do is put it on the 4-inch line and score it. The scoring tool is here. So score it at 4. That's wrong. I'm supposed to score it at 4 1/4. So hold on, let me grab another piece of paper. Okay, that was awkward. Let's try that again. 4 1/4. All right, 4 1/4. We're going to score it. Let me get this opened up without knocking my lights over, which would not be good. And we're going to score it 4 1/4, 8 1/2. Now this way. All right, so it was 4 1/4 and then 8 1/2. There we go. Boy, who knew it would be so hard? Then I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and cut it at 4 1/4. Voila. There we go. All right, the next thing I did was take my 1-inch, 2-inch circle punch here. And this particular punch has little divots here, and so I took a black Sharpie and just put lines on where the corners were so that I could see, so I could line it up perfectly. And so I just took my piece of paper and I'm looking at my score line. I have it seated all the way in there, and I'm lining up my little black markers with the score line and punching. So there's what it looks like. And this card is going to fold like this and like this. All right, so let's just go ahead and stamp this one. I'm going to use these. I'm going to start with the greens. No, that's not. All right, so just jade first. And the reason I'm hesitating is I'm not finding my other green. Oh, there it is. Sort of hard to do this. You have to have everything on the table. Yeah. All right, so I'm just going to stamp 3 leaves here. 1, 2, and 3. And I'm switching from just jade to mint macaron. And this one, I'm going to take it, rotate it to the right. One, two, I'm going to do 3. Oh, on the inside, I want to do nope, not that one. There it is. right, I'm going to just do a leaf on the inside. There we go. Okay, so that's that. I did take my 2-inch circle punch and I punched a hole out of my matching Just Jade paper, a hole, a circle, and that's going to go there. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut, do the die cuts next. Now for the die cuts, I actually use 3 different sets. I used this one, well-written framelets, and that's where I got this cute little butterfly from. This is an amazing set. I don't ever put it away. I use it all the time, so it's definitely a staple that you should have. I also used the Ornate Borders dies, which is new for this one, and that's how I got this pretty edge. And then the third, so I made another mistake and gave you guys a retired framelit in your kit, but I should have used this one, which is not retired. And it came out of the stitch shape framelits, which is also another staple you should have in your repertoire. I use it all the time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. And I'm going to do it all at the same time. So we'll do that one. We'll do our circle. And our butterfly. Hold on, I gotta grab something. Okay. So I'm just gonna run this through the Big Shot. And I like to run these through twice, just to make sure it cut it out well. If you find they're not cutting out, you can also run them through upside down, but this did really well, so we don't need to do that. All right, let me get this out of the way. All right, so we have this. Just going to use my little handy dandy tool to get all the little chads out. There we go. There's that butterfly and my circle. There we go. All right. So I'll set those aside. I want to go ahead and stamp Smile in the center of my circle. There it is. And for this, I'm using Blackberry Bliss. Make sure it's the right way. Aim for the middle. Can you even see me? There we go. Smile. Not too bad. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find my green circle. There it is. And I'm going to tape this to my green circle. There we go. All right. Oh, you know what? I should have left my embossing machine out because we need to do. We need to do this, which, of course, I don't have a piece cut. Well, shoot. Let me do that real fast. So this needs to be 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. All right, so 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. Bring my machine back, and I'm going to put this in the Brick and Mortar 3D embossing folder. This is a really fun one. I use this one a lot. It looks especially good with flowers. You know what? Let me make sure I am going the right way now that I think about it. It looks like I am. Okay. All right. Cool. There we go. Okay. We're getting there. All right. The last thing we need to do is these little flowers here on the front. And for that, I just took a scrap. Truth be told, I took the circle that I had already used, cut out, and I took this one and Blackberry Bliss, Rich Raspberry marker, and the Blackberry Bliss is a little bit darker, but I'm going to start with the Rich Raspberry. Make sure y'all can see that. And I'm just going to color. I'm using the broad tip. This has 2 sides, a fine point and a brush stroke. I'm doing the brush stroke just on the petals. And now I'm taking the darker color, the Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to color the center. And just be careful not to get the stem. I don't want that stem showing. And then I'm just going to color in on the leaves just a little bit and kind of make it not too even. So just kind of doing little lines. I'll huff on it and I'm going to stamp it. And there. Isn't that pretty? All right, so we got to clean it to do it again because I don't want to ruin my marker. Starting over. I'll do the petals. And when I'm done, I'm going to fussy cut these out with scissors. So just kind of making little lines. Huff on it to kind of moisten it again. And there you go. Oopsie, I got a little bit of the stem, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to cut that out. All right, so that's how I did that flower. The other flower, if I can find it, there it is. All right, this one I took my stamp pad. There it is. My bumblebee, and I just tapped it in the bumblebee pad like that. Then I took my Early Espresso marker, and since it's a darker color on light, you're not going to ruin the early espresso marker. You're not going to have a color bleed, and I just colored the center like that. I'm going to huff on it to re-moisten it, and there's that flower. And I cleaned it off. I'm going to do it again. There you go. So you can take your scissors and fussy cut it out. I already went ahead and did that. So there we go. And now we can assemble the card. So if you want, you can put like a yellow one on the inside. You just want to make sure you cover up that leaf fully, so I just kind of lined up the petals so that it covered it. So there's the inside. I'm going to flip this up right here. I'm going to put this panel here. So I'm going to put tape in each of the four corners. Probably would help if you could see what I was doing. This, you just want to totally cover the panel. All right, and then I'm going to put my little circle in there. Did I already tape that? I did. All right, so to get this lined up just right, you want to close it up and just put tape at the bottom. You don't want tape up here because you'll have tape on the back of your card. You just kind of set it in there. And there we go. If you're having a hard time opening it, you can pull it up just a hair. And then I put this little strip under here. Since my tape is too wide, I'm just going to cut it in half. Although if you had a tape runner, you wouldn't have to do this. You could just, because the tape runner's more narrow. And I'm just going to put it on the top of this. Let's see, I think I'll do it like this so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Looks good still on both sides. And now I'm going to put my little flowers on that I fussy cut. And I'll use a glue dot for that. So I'm just covering up the leaf. Where'd my other one go? There it is. Like that. I'm going to put my yellow one in the middle. Oh, and my little butterfly. I'm going to use glue for that because it's so little. If you remember last time I showed you a cool paintbrush technique for these little ones, but since I'm just doing one little one, I'm not going to get my paintbrush out. But there we go. How cute is that? Just a fun fold, fun interactive card. You could use this with a lot of different layouts. All right, and here's what I used for that card. If you want to pause it later, you can come back and watch this video. You can pause it and see the sizes of all the paper that I did. So hopefully by now you all have gotten your new August to December mini catalog. It is live, so you can order from it. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there. Have some fun stuff planned for next month using stuff out of the mini catalog. Just a little business. Our hostess this month is Carol. And there's a hostess code, my website. If you can place your order by tomorrow at 3 p.m., I'd appreciate it. If you are placing your own order, be sure and use your bonus days coupon from July if you had one, because I can't really add that later. If you want to just email me your order and your bonus days coupon, I'm happy to place the order for you. So these, once again, were the 3 cards that we did. 1, 2, 3. It's been fun. And hoping I can get a mystery zoom in. I've been super busy watching my granddaughter Blair, which is a huge blessing. I just love her to death. But of course I have less time now, so not stamping as much as I'd like, but I'm sure I'm enjoying my grandbaby. Anyway, it's good to see all of you, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.